All right. Okay, so again, it's a date night. We have a date night with the Father because He loves us and He wants the world to know that He loves us. And He has this day of rest set aside, this date night set aside just for us. When people see us, and then that's where they said, oh, I see. And it's a sign. It is a sign. Because when people see Him, they'll say, oh, is it Sabbath? Yeah, it's a Sabbath night. Oh, yeah. I know who their husband is. I know who their husband is. That's right. They go, they have Sabbath. Every Sabbath they have a date night. Nobody interferes in their date night. No, that's their night. That's their day of rest. They rest together. They rest in each other. Yep, that's their night. So it's a sign the whole world knows. See, I mean, think about it. When you walk down the road and somebody says, oh, I'm keeping the Sabbath. And they say, oh, what is that? Yeah, I'm going to Sabbath day and we're going to do this and that. We're going to welcome into Sabbath and this and that. And everybody, oh, yeah. Okay, I know what God they serve. See what I'm saying? There it is. You don't even have to say anything except that. That's the sign. Everybody already knows. And this is a sign between God and His people and His bride. We are His bride. This is our sign. And this is the day He has for us that it is our date night. And I am still fully persuaded to think that, from Friday night to Saturday night is worked out perfectly because mom and dad and kids, you know what I'm saying? He's got it all worked out where you rest in the Lord. You rest in the Lord and we rest together in Him. And there it is. And that is a sign. And everybody everywhere knows that. And He didn't make man for the Sabbath. He made Sabbath for the man because He knew we would need this time to rest in Him. It's just like a marriage. Everybody should have that day a week where it is nothing but the family. It's nothing but resting in the family. The husband and wife have their special time that they rest in each other, and then they have the time when they rest together with them and the children together as a family. Every week they should have that day. Father made this day because He knew we needed it. He gave it as a gift to us. He didn't give us as a gift to that day. He gave that day as a gift for us, so it should be cherished. See, the thing about this is they're not grievous. How are we showing the Father that we love Him? We are keeping His commandments. That's what He says. We keep His commandments. And then He goes on, because, see, God's bride, Father God's bride is a community of people. So the next 6 ones, He's telling us exactly how to love each other. We don't kill, we don't steal, we don't commit adultery. And there's an order and things of how marriage works. He's telling us this, you don't do this. Everyone in this marriage should know how to love each other. We should know how to love each other. Everybody in this community should know how to love each other. Here's how you love each other. Like I said, you don't steal, you don't commit adultery, you don't lie, you don't cheat. You honor each other. And you honor each generation. From generation to generation, you honor that. This is what you do. Don't covet what belongs to your neighbor. Be happy for them. Don't covet what belongs to them. If you're constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're not going to be loving the Joneses. In other words, look, a relationship is never going to work if it keeps fighting against itself. So you got to learn how to love each other, and you got to learn how to love your spouse. So you got to stop and ask yourself, how do I love my spouse? Am I loving my spouse? See, Father wants our relationship to work. He wants a relationship to work with us. And like I said, that's saying that it takes a community. It takes a community for a marriage. Somebody has said that, and really they're right. It takes a community working together, being together, working as one, not backbiting each other, not see what happens if you get one backbite and then this and backbite and gossip and all that going on, then it's never going to work because you always have somebody fighting against each other. And some people just don't get it. They want to view it as some kind of, I don't know, legalism. They want to view it as some kind of big bad thing that's going to enslave them. But see, it doesn't. It doesn't. It actually frees you. See, because when you're learning how to love yourself, you're learning how to love your brother. When you're learning how to love your brother, you're learning how to love yourself. And then all together, you're learning how to love Father God, your spouse. And then it makes it work. It makes love work. It makes a relationship work in love. Because everything you do in love. You're not doing it by force. You're doing it by love. See, the Father says, so the question is, how am I loving Father God? Yahweh, the great I am, Father God. How do I know that I'm loving you? I mean, I know that you loved me. See, because you're keeping your word to me. You're doing all these things. You're taking care of me. You're doing all this stuff. Yeshua died for me. He loved me so much. I mean, he died for me. Father gave his son to die for me. That's how much he loved me. And he rose again. But, so he gave everything, any and everything, anything to him. He gave for me because he loves me. He showed me he loved me. I have no doubt of his love for me. But how am I showing him that I love him? He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. He said in John, 1 John, 4th chapter, if you say you hate your brother, if you say you love me and hate your brother, you're a liar. But if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. That's why John says this is love for God, that you obey his commandments. This is your love for God. You obey his commandments. See, commandments are founded on love. Again, it's not rules to tie hands. They're founded on love. And if you really start looking at the commandments, you're going to see they're on love. And really and truly, when you marry somebody and a spouse, what do you expect? You have expectations of them, don't you? You're making a vow with them, a commitment with them. And the vow and the commitment you're making with your spouse is one of love. People say, well, if you're getting married, why would you blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you don't get married just without expectations of what your spouse is going to be. Do you marry your spouse going to expect him to, okay, you don't say law, okay, when I marry you, that means it's still okay for you to go out and cheat on me or commit adultery or treat me like crap or treat my family like crap, or it's okay for you to steal, kill, and destroy. Just because I'm marrying you, that ain't going to change anything. It doesn't change the rules. See, when you marry, it changes things. It changes the rules. Actually, you should be keeping them anyway, but it changes the rules. You're marrying each other. You belong to one another. Are you loving your spouse? Are you keeping your vows to the Father? Are you keeping your vows? You ask yourself that. Does Father God know you love him? Are you showing him you love him? If you love me, keep my commandments. All of them. Not just 9. Not just 6. All of them. Anyway,